Welcome to airplantshop.com. Today we want to show you how to water your air plants. Watering air plants should be done at least once a week. You can mist them with a spray mister, but the best way they're going to get their nutrients is by soaking them in a water bath, lukewarm water. So collect up your air plants and let's get started. So what's the best water to use? Most people agree that rainwater is the best. It's nature, it has nutrients. If you have a simple way of collecting up rainwater, then do that. If you don't, the second choice would be good bottled water that you drink, or filtered. Now, city water or tap water is generally not good for air plants. Depends on where you live. But if you're following alkalinity, generally 5.5 to 6.0 is a good range for air plants. And that's not usually what comes out of the tap. So why not use just a simple water filtration for drinking water? Another important aspect is that you use lukewarm water. You don't want to shock your air plants with cold water or hot water. So if you need to set it out for a little bit before you put your air plants in their bath, let it become room temperature. When your water's at the right temperature, simply add your air plants. Dip them in the water, down in, soak them, because air plants take their nutrients in through the water. That's why it's important to have good quality water that has nutrients in them. Distilled water would actually kill your air plants because there's no nutrients left in distilled water. If you have a flowering air plant, that flower could stay for 2 to 3 weeks on some air plants, depending on what breed. And if you dip that all the way in the water, you might lose it prematurely. So what I recommend is after you've put in all your other air plants, take the flowering one, set it in the water, but leave out the actual flower. That way it'll last a lot longer. And here's an important point, and it's quite often why a lot of people lose their air plants. They don't let them dry out completely. If you can imagine, they lived in an arid climate where the heat and sun and then a big deluge of rain came, and then they dried out completely. That's what you want to do. You pull them out, lay them on their side so that the water can spill out of the center cup of the air plant, and let them sit for 2 to 3 hours to dry out. Now, you can tell if they're fully dry by touching the end to the very bottom of your air plant. If you feel any moisture to your dry fingers, then they're not quite yet dry. And this is important because water can settle into the cup of that air plant and cause rotting. And that rotting will spread and eventually kill the air plant. So let them dry out completely on their side in an arid area if you need to. Then you can return them to their artistic pieces or the shells that you might have them in, or terrarium, because these enclosures will cause more rot if you don't let them dry out completely. So make sure they dry out completely and you're good to go. Now if you do find any brown rot spots, peel that back, peel that off, and that will keep it from spreading. Now here's another side note. If you're going on vacation for over 2 weeks, then you want to actually soak your air plants for like 12 hours right before you leave on your vacation. Then when you return, you're going to do the same thing. Soak them again for 12 hours. That's if you're leaving for over 2 weeks. That way they'll take in the nutrients and they will rebound. They're amazing hardy plants.
Walking my old streets again. It's been such a long time since then. All around the memories are loud, but just 2 feet, there seems such a crowd.